You hate him or you ate him? Yes.
No, I'll let you lead it.
Cool. Is he good on the framing?
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Cool. Sometimes. Yeah. What's going on, folks? Welcome to the Lemonade Podcast. I'm your host, Frank, along with Matt.
Howdy.
And Mike, who's not here, but we do still have his little whatever. Anyhow, here at the Lemonade Podcast, we go by the saying, when life gives you lemons, we make lemonade. And we pour it onto the world. And with that, we hope to encourage, inspire, and empower not only those of you tuning in, but our guests themselves. And today's guest is...
Kris Aguilar, also go by K Digitals.
K Digitals, there you go. Kris Aguilar, welcome to the Lemonade Podcast. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
No, of course, it's a pleasure. I'm excited for a couple reasons. One being that you're a photographer, so we can talk a little bit and understand each other on that level. But also because you are also going into a new adventure in life. Correct? Right. So we'll get into that. But anyways, first off, once again, like I said, thanks for being here. Let's throw out your social, just so like you said, KD.
K Digitals.
K
So
Digitals.
it's all on Instagram. It's K _, and then Digitals.
Got it. Yeah, and we'll put it on the show notes and stuff. Do you only have Instagram? Do you do anything else?
Instagram, YouTube, and then LinkedIn if anyone uses LinkedIn.
Oh, there
out
you
there.
go. You know what's funny? I use LinkedIn.
Yeah.
As a photographer, I mean, I use everything. I go from anything from Facebook to Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest. Are you on Pinterest?
No, not on Pinterest.
Yeah, so it's a whole, like, you try to hit it every platform and stuff like that. So where are you from?
So I grew up in San Pedro, which is in the Los Angeles area.
Yeah.
Spent there until I was 21. And then I actually was up in the Bay Area in San Jose for 5 years for school and then stayed for work.
Okay.
And then I came down to San Diego in December 2020.
Yeah. How's that? Like, why the move in, especially in that time?
And to come to San Diego?
Yeah, because 2020, it was
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot to unbox. So I was working where do I start? So I'll try to give like a bridge version. Right?
Yeah.
I was working for a startup for a few years up there, working with some great, incredibly smart people, some good mentors. But it was like a real startup in that we're working from 7 a.m. to midnight every day. You're pretty much working on the weekends without like admitting it.
Yeah.
Even just like mentally thinking about it. Learned a lot, right? But it just started to burn me out.
Yeah.
It's just everyone, right?
Sure.
And then my now wife, we had her engaged at the time. And we talked about, she was also burned out at her job. So we thought, let's quit our jobs and move somewhere else, live our lives and just decompress and kind of go on an adventure for a while.
Nice.
And then when we're 30, then we'll settle down somewhere and have a kid and raise our family.
Okay.
And of the places we all checked out, San Diego was the one we decided on.
Nice. All right. Is there a special reason for that? I mean, or was there any other runner-ups?
So we checked out Hawaii, Portland, and then we were also going to check out Denver and Chicago.
I like all those places.
And
I've been to Hawaii, Portland.
Hawaii's nice.
I haven't been to Denver or Chicago, which actually on my I don't have a bucket list or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like of clients, some people I've reached out that live in both places.
Oh,
Chicago,
nice, dude.
Chicago and Denver. And I'm like, I'm down to go.
Yeah, why not? Right?
I do travel. I travel as a photographer when need be. So that's always fun because you get to see new places.
Yeah.
And get to do your own fucking thing. Yeah. So you came to SD 2020 December. How long have you been shooting? You're a photographer.
So technically-ish, I started like when I first got like a DSLR, maybe like 2013.
Okay.
But it wasn't like a serious thing. I was doing it as like a fun hobby, taking pictures of like anything and everything. Yeah. So there's no focus.
That's how we usually start.
Right. You just gotta for the laser focus isn't at some point, but it takes time.
Put in the reps. Yeah, for sure.
And then I was doing it throughout college, after college, and then when I started working in the startup, I kind of just put it on hold. I just put all my dedication into that. Was still kind of doing it, but it would be like I might pull up my camera once every like 5 months.
Yeah.
To go take a picture like on a hiking trail,
Yeah.
and then not really edit, just put it back and
Yeah.
never offload it. And then eventually I slowly started getting back into it again. And then that's when I said, let me take everything I learned at the startup,
Yep.
go build my own business as a photographer and just see what I can do with it.
Yeah.
And that's why I decided I'm going to focus on just anything with people. So like portraits, weddings, events, just 'cause that's what I'm good at. Like I can't set up a nice product shot. I always just, it gets stuck, right? I can't do it. But with people, it's easy. For sure, that's easier for me.
Hey, it's like what you said. It's easier for you because some people can, go all out on this product stuff and and have trouble with people,
Yeah.
Especially because I feel like as photographers, you know what I mean. You build a connection. You have to, with your subject, just because it makes it a little easier. And people always when I shoot, they're like, if they're new clients, they might be a little nervous and all this stuff. But it's like I go into it with some nerves, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I've always tried to like build a rapport, build a connection because it makes me more at ease. And, even though it's been something I've been doing for quite some time now, that doesn't ever go away for me.
Yeah.
I go into it like, oh crap, am I gonna get it right? And it's like,
this is the one time I'm gonna finally gonna catch up to me. Yeah.
Right. And I was like, oh, they're gonna know I'm a fraud, or this whole sometimes imposter syndrome kicks in. But and it's funny because at times it was like some of the best shots that you get, And I couldn't explain that.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own. But yeah, that's dope. So you once again you come to San Diego. You were still shooting. Were you shooting the whole time since you got out here, or were you also working on it?
Yeah, so it's been a lot. So the idea was to come out here and do it. So I was trying to make sure I was staying busy with it. So always trying to keep shooting, but at the same time I was. So when we moved here, we got pregnant.
Okay,
wasn't part of the plan; it just happened. So that was always there. We got a husky, and then I had a cat, and then we're trying to get married now.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out where we're gonna move, and then so there's just a lot going on. So I'm just trying to while all this is happening, just trying to not let I don't know, that zipline snap of don't lose photography. Just even if I don't do it for a week, I have to mentally just keep thinking about it.
Yeah. Just keep putting in the reps for that. Yeah.
And eventually, I got to a point where I was able to focus more on it. And if I wasn't shooting, I was always on Instagram, just doing research or planning out new ideas for new shoots, networking. So once I got here, it never left. I never stopped thinking about it.
Yeah, no, I mean it's funny you say that because I feel like once I started, I haven't stopped.
It's you can't.
Yeah, it's like this is me now.
Yeah, it's an identity.
No, for sure. No, and I mean it's not a bad thing. I don't feel it.
Yeah.
But it's something that you're passionate about. I've seen your work. It's great. Thanks, I'm a fan. No, for real. I know you reached out to us talking about the show and going through it. At times I'm a little thrown off when I talk to photographers just because I'm like, oh man, these motherfuckers are way cooler than me. They're way better than me. They're more experienced than me. However, I own my own stuff, but I also, because like I said, your work is dope. But I also understand that we all have our insecurities.
Yeah, those don't
but you know what I mean? But two, we also have our own ways of doing things, our own process.
Yeah.
And I always hate to say that we have our own style, just because I feel like it boxes us in. You know what I mean? But we do have our own style at times. So, but your style is dope. Like you talk about the portraits. I've seen a lot of your work. There's a lot of studio work.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have your own studio or?
No. I usually for especially recently I go to Hendo Studios, North San Diego. That's kind of where I shot out different studios around San Diego, but I started going to theirs just because, it just works consistently. Super underrated. I don't think people really appreciate it, but the parking is, you can't beat the parking there.
Okay.
And that really matters because I've done shoots around downtown or North Park or in other areas. And the studio might be great, but then you have to pay for parking 5 blocks away where it's 2 hour street parking. You have to move it, and that adds a level of stress people. And people can't find the studio because it's in the middle of a building. Hendo is a business district. The parking's right there.
Yeah. Shit, I didn't even realize that. That's for sure.
It's probably the process, right? The worst thing is, especially someone's paying for just the hour.
Yeah.
And they show up 15 minutes late because they couldn't find the studio or find the parking. It's that's that's a level of stress you don't want to think about.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's timing is it's of essence, obviously. But yeah, I didn't even think about something like that. Here's the thing too. I shoot at home. Like I shoot a lot of because a lot of what I do is the boudoir stuff.
Yeah.
So it's easy for me here.
Yeah.
I set it up and all that stuff. Parking isn't too bad here, which is nice. You know what I mean? However, yeah, man, especially jumping from in the city, downtown, that's just super fucking crowded.
Yeah.
And parking sometimes can be a little steep. Like the pricing on that, it's like, oh snap, like I gotta pay this plus on top of the fee that I gotta pay my photographer to like shoot. Like holy crap.
Yeah, you just don't want to give that to your client. Like
not at all.
It's not on you technically, but you want to deliver a good experience overall.
For sure. No, that's key. Experience. You know what I mean? Like when people come through, it's like, no, it's not just, you stand up in front of a camera and just do your thing. It's not it's not just that. It's more to it. That's why for me, like I said, I want to be able to provide this service from the jump, be able to build a rapport, have that connection. So it's not when people come in are just so stiff. They're just like, hey, I'm shooting with somebody who I'm familiar with, who I'm comfortable with, especially from the stuff that I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm glad to be able to do that, So to be able to relieve them from certain stresses, is great. I'm glad that I've been doing it for as long as I have because there's certain things that I already know that people don't think about. They're like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, good. It's not your job to do so. I got you.
Yeah, and the fact that you only get that through like the scar tissue of, like you said, just I like your metaphor, just you're doing your reps.
Yeah.
Because that's how you get one bad shoot because of one of those elements. You're like, cool, never again.
Well, for sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't learn though.
So you repeat acts, then you're reminded why you should know better. Again.
Yeah. I should know better.
Yeah.
I think I talked to I did. I talked to somebody about this. I was like, yo, is it because I'm stubborn or determined? You know what I mean? So whichever way you want to put it. I always say my stubbornness doesn't allow me to let it be bad, and when it is bad, I have to try again and like max out even more to make it even greater because I don't want it to slip even close to that bad experience that everybody has. So I'm like, I will never let myself do that. But yeah, like we talked about, something like this photography for me, it's like I don't think I can't tell you that I will ever or have a thought of letting it go. Like to me, I'm like, I'm doing this forever. Yeah. For as long as I can.
My like mentor at the time back in San Jose, that guy ran the startup. So when I've done photography forever, and like even when I stopped doing it, there were just random signs that would bring me back to like, oh, you're a photographer. But never really thought that. Once I was like I said, I assumed the identity of it, and like this was me. Yeah. I told him like it's weird because I feel like I have anxiety all the time. I can't stop thinking about photography. Yeah. Like but it's stressing me out. But like I don't know how to silence that voice. And he's like, oh, that's never gonna go away.
Oh, well, once you own that.
Yeah, because his entire career is he just builds businesses. Yeah. Sells them. Like he gets them like really good companies, but then he sells them to like a conglomerate and then takes them and starts another business. Yep. Like it's not even about the money. It's just like that's his. Yeah, that's what he does. And he's like you could call that passion. I don't know what you want to call it, but once you have that bug, like that's it, man.
Yeah, I think also too, like he said, once you come to terms with the fact that that's never gonna go away, it sits with you better, and so you're like, oh, that's cool, fine. But yeah, no, I get it because at times you look at the world different. As an artist, it's definitely people are like, oh, that's cool, or they don't like the attention to detail stuff. Like, hey, did you see that? Whatever, and they're like, what? I didn't even. It's because you as that artist or as a photographer, you have to pay attention to details. It just comes with it. Yeah. So it's tough not to see things in a certain way. Even now, not working on films, but working on video stuff. You know what I mean? Like I look at films different. I'm like, oh, that's how they shot that. The way they pan it, the lighting, the slow motion on that, the speed, all of that stuff. Now I look at it so different because I'm like, oh, okay, it gives me ideas and inspiration to like keep pushing the envelope for how I create. Mm-hmm. Do you do any video work?
It's been a while. I was, but as I got more into like this as a business, I've tried to simplify like my process and what I do more. So like, I was like, hey, if I keep trying to do video and photography at the same time, I might not be as good as both of them, or it might be hard for me to sell one. and I want to get really good at this. So let me just focus on photography.
For sure.
That way I can just commit all my energy into learning and refining that.
Yeah.
And then video at some point, but I feel like video will get there again at some point, but I don't think it's gonna be probably more of like the hobby projects. Like people reach out like, do you do video? Like, yeah, I'll do video. Here's how I charge. But I also kind of charge it a little higher than I probably need to, in a way to kind of get them to say no, because that way I don't have to say no. But like, I might just prefer I only do these type of work. But if you want, here's some people I recommend that are actually better at the job.
No, I understand that. I got it. I understood. I was like, man, first I was like, man, this fool don't want that work. I'm like, but you know that other people might do better than that, especially for what the the client is looking for. He's like, because I've been there. I'm like, I could do it. Trust me. I've said this before. I don't know a lot, but I know enough to be dangerous.
Yeah.
You know.
And, sorry.
No. And so I'm like, but you know what? I think there's a different vibe that you want. It's not what I can do. I know someone who's really good at it, or like I said, I'm not afraid of referring. Like it's not like gonna take. I don't feel it's gonna take away from me. If anything, it's gonna, grow even the network, and someone will hopefully one day look out for me and be like, hey, because I've had that happen too.
Yeah. Because it's like I got to a point where I really take every project seriously. Mm-hmm. And the last thing I want to do is say yes to something I probably know. Like when I was younger, I would have said, yeah, I'll figure it out. But now I don't want that stress and that level of like, oh, if I don't meet this expectation, I'm going to just feel shame that I messed up. And that's going to look bad on me as a brand. Yeah. Versus being like, yeah, I'll just do it and improvise. And then the deadline's coming up and I'm just not getting it. Where, oh, I messed up the video. And like, there's just things I don't want to put myself in the position to fail, but in the sense of, I knew I might have been setting myself up to fail in this. Yeah. And that's not being a good professional.
Yep. No, I make see that. And like you said, you told yourself, like, yo, right now, photography is it. Maybe, or down the line, I'll get into video work. Great. You know what I mean? I think that's always a good thing to tell yourself that, because you don't want to go into anything half-assed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I get that. I personally, I'm starting to work back again with, at least not back again, but I'm really focusing more on video. I still do, I still shoot, but I also have ideas for, small little, music videos, all this stuff. Yeah. You see a lot on TikTok or even Instagram where the reels and all that stuff, but I'm like, yo, I want to do like whole short films and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that's why, for me, I try to almost use it as a, hey, this is going to be my, what do you call it? Rough draft. So when let's say I go out and have a concept, I'll shoot it. And then that's putting in the reps as far as that goes. I use that opportunity. Now, don't get me wrong. I won't sit there and be like, okay, whatever, let's just shoot however the fuck. And if it works out, great.
Yeah,
I'm always still like, there's the perfectionism, very anal on certain things. And people sometimes look at that and they're like, damn, bro, like this motherfucker's doing the same shot a couple of times. I'm like, this way I panned it a little different. This one was zoomed out a little bit more. Yeah. I like it this way better, whatever. But I still work on that, because for me, it's like, yo, once I get to really doing the bigger work, or even my stuff, because one day I aspire to make an actual film. Yeah. Once I get there, I'm like, oh, I'm no stranger to it. I've been here before, and I think to me, it's a good practice. You know what I mean? Continuing to do that. So don't stop. Get it. No, man, but for real, like, if you have that in the back of your head, work on it from time to time. Like you said, with the photography, you put it off, for a couple months, come back, take a shot, put it away. It's like, when you shoot, this is just my suggestion, shoot a little film just to see what you can do.
Yeah, that's smart. What I mean? Like with photography, what I'll do is, like, if a client reaches out and like, I want to do something like this, I'm like, okay, let's do it. We'll book the shoot. Yeah. And if I haven't done that, I'll book my own shoot, book my own model, just to practice that lighting or that setup. And that when I show up, I know what I'm doing. Because like I said, I don't, like, before I would have just, maybe I was too arrogant to know any better.
Well, but that's also a plus. I feel. It's just like, I'm here for it. Yeah. But you want to master the craft. Yeah. Which is good. It's good. Yeah. And I feel like you're one of the type of photographers, just providing a service, and you're actually you're conscious of what the client needs. It's not like just the money. It's like, I do want to provide a good product and an experience as well. Yeah. Which I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know too many photographers. I don't know if you know a lot. I don't. I know a couple.
Okay.
So I just stay in my lane. So I don't know how other people, do their thing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of other. Oh, this is me hating, I guess, but like I think because of, and this is only because I had that startup experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's, I think a lot of people. I say this before, like a lot of people are more artists, and they're thinking that way. But when it comes to like that client professional relationship,
Mm-hmm.
some people just don't respond. They just leave people hanging. They might deliver as an artist, but they might be rude as a person. It's just like, you
Yeah, I
gotta
mean,
do that.
there's a balance. I think one of the thoughts, and this is because I feel like I've been here before with that, is I just want my work to do the talking for me.
Mm-hmm.
People are just gonna come,
Okay.
and it's not completely. It's not always the case.
Yeah.
However, when they do come, they see it. I don't really have to say much, but I like to be personable. You know what I mean? I like to talk to people. Once again, I want their experience to be one of the greater ones. You know? One, because it's word of mouth.
Yeah.
But two, if this is the only time that they're doing this, shooting with Frank, and if you've ever shot with Frank, holy crap, he makes you do some crazy shit. No, just ask any of the models. No, ask anybody. No, but if this is the first time shooting, I want it to be, like I want one good, good first impression, but it's also their experience. Like, wow, for what I do, the boudoir stuff, is very empowering for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So when they come through and it's just a bad experience, that might turn them off overall. One, and two, it might say something more to them about themselves, or they might feel like, you know what I mean? They might be like, oh, maybe I'm not worth it, or maybe the empowerment just goes away. And it's like, my like goal is to do that, to empower you when you are here. Case in point with the podcast, you know what I'm saying? You're here. I want this to be a good conversation, a good experience for you.
Yeah.
If one day you're at another podcast, you'd be like, this was good, but being on the Lemonade podcast was the best fucking podcast.
With them.
Yeah, I would like to, for sure, because when they go shoot with somebody else, they're like, yo, this is cool, but man, I really trust Frank. He makes me feel comfortable, especially in a place where you're very vulnerable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in any case, what you do too, there's vulnerability. Just, being in front of camera. I'm not a fan of being in front of the camera. We only have that because YouTube and Matt takes care of it. I would be like this the whole time.
Yeah.
But like shooting, it's tough for me to do that. So I have to be comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if that would help you in your journey at all, but the community has been great to me, which is good. Especially photographers. Very helpful, and I don't forget that, which is good, because I always kind of like, when someone reaches out to me, I'm like, look, I'm not the most technical when it comes to gear and stuff, but I will help you as best as I can. And I think some people may not, just because they're like, it's competition.
I was talking to someone earlier today about that, where it's like, if you hear me on like this podcast or other podcasts, like I'm always shouting out other photographers like I like, but there are also times where I interact with these same people or other people, and like you could tell there's like a weirdness or attention. I'm like, oh, maybe I'm trying too hard to be everyone's friend. Maybe I should stop. But I also don't want to do that. I have no issue with anybody.
Right.
Like, I'm a fan of all these same people.
Exactly. And you wouldn't be you. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be genuine if you didn't do that, because I genuinely like, so and so. I'm gonna have them on. Like the people that I've had on have friends, family, some people who branch, or other people that knew people that were on.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's people that I've been fan of, and that's the great experience about this was that I get to meet those people, and we get to sit down and have a conversation like we are today. We get to talk about art. We get to talk about their story. We get to be inspired by that. You know what I'm saying? And those things where it's like, when honestly on a normal basis, I wouldn't sit down and have a conversation like this. Yeah. I've never met you. This is our first time, right?
Yeah.
This is our first time. And we've DM'd, a couple of times trying to get this, this podcast going, or the episode, but we've never met. And I feel comfortable, but then again, I also feel comfortable with myself here.
Which is mostly,
but it's not awkward. You know what I mean? But it's, once again, it's about just trying to encourage folk to be here, to tell their story, to let, not only let me know, but I would like, once again, what we do here at Lemonade Podcast is to be able to share those stories with the people, so that they'd be like, oh, I could relate.
Yeah.
It's always about that, like, oh, I hear his story, her story, their story. I'm in the same boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, like you said, there's a good community out here. And I think it's like there are photographers that like there's Mr. Freeze, who's like a Polaroid photographer here in the area. He came to a studio with me and like showed me how to do like a lighting setup that I was trying to sell to a client. It didn't work, but I was like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Do you think you can show me how to do that? Courtney Hendo Studios always helps me kind of understand lighting. Summer Bliss, Tiffany Wynn, like I messaged like, hey, how do you edit? And some people are cool. They're like, she'll write a whole here's how I do my editing.
Here's my process.
But then some people will just like read receipt or just like the message to like the question. I'm like, okay, well I don't want to bother you. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
it's you know, it's a, I don't know, man. For me, like I don't bother too much with it when people don't respond, but I'm also very independent.
Okay.
And as much as I would love to know other things, I always try and like find it on my own.
Yeah.
But I love what you do because you actually reach out to these people. I've only done that once, and it was a great experience because I was like, hey, do you think you could look at my pictures? This was when first starting out. It was one of my favorite photographers.
Really?
Yeah, like the person who inspires me to do what I do today. You can see some of his influence in my work.
Oh, for sure.
And I will never fucking like shy away from giving him his props.
Yeah.
I want him on the show. Like, and
Okay.
and we've talked to each other and we met, bro. I've shot with him.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that was the biggest deal for me. That was a big day because I got to shoot with the person, you know, who I look up to in all of this. You know, like you talk about, you know, meeting your hero. That was one of those moments for me.
Yeah.
I got to do that, and I got to shoot side by side with him. And the dude is like the most humble fucking dude, you know, that I've known.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a great experience. Had he been a dick to me, bro, like I would have been like, what the fuck? And so it's like some people say, never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
You know, but it was such a great. So to me, I'm always like, when somebody asks a question, I don't shout. Yeah, let me help you however I can.
Yeah.
Disclaimer: I'm not the most technical, all this stuff, but you know, it's good that you reach out, and it's good that these people help.
Yeah.
You know, maybe one day they were there. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
hopefully you can take that with you because I feel it's important.
It's important. Like I feel bad sometimes because like the people that reach out to me like, oh, can I shadow you on a shoot and all that? But like my thing is like I just don't want to bring someone on a client shoot just because that's probably not the place to do that.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, hey, I'll do it. Just if you want a studio shoot, just book the studio, book
Yeah.
the model. I'll show up and anything you want, I'm there. And
Yeah.
people, that's usually people are like, oh, okay, I'll let you know. And
No,
it's like,
no, and then I get it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that people should take advantage of because it's like, yo, if you're offering, all they gotta do is set it up. I'm gonna show up and whatever questions you have. I'm
When
here for it.
I was still at the startup, so there's a photographer named Martin DePick. So you're talking about like meet your heroes or a guy
Yeah.
photographer. He's a photographer up in LA, and I was following him when back in like 2012 or 2013 when I was getting into it.
What's his name?
Martin DePick.
Martin DePick. Okay.
Same thing. You can see his photos in my photos. It's
Yeah.
just he's just a good guy, like
Yeah.
photographer wise. And I can't like there's times where I'll just my algorithm right. I'll go and like, oh, here's a model we're supposed to. Wow, what a great photo. I like this photo a lot. And then somehow I found it Martin DePick. Like, what the fuck? Of course it's his photo. Like,
Right.
it's just
you
a
can tell the
look.
work. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the way. Shout out to Moss. I want him on the show. Moss, I'm calling you out. Please come out. Come outside. You know what I mean? Nah, but it's same thing. Like you can tell, like that's Moss. And I don't know if I've said this before in one of them, but I was like, I remember somebody copying him, like his style. Like I was like, what the fuck, bro? I was
Yeah.
angry. I was angry for him. And he was like, it happens, bro. And he was so like, whatever. But
Well, yeah. So so the thing I was bringing that up is like he had a workshop and I paid $500 to, and then I flew out to LA to go do that, right? And to me, I was like, a lot of money at the time, but like, oh, I'm gonna go learn, and like,
Yeah.
it was like here's how I use the studio light, here's how I shoot outside, but there was just something to the way he said it or showed me, like, oh crap, so this is how you do all this?
yeah.
That's not that hard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then like a potential just unlocked. Like, oh
Yeah.
my god! But then when you do it yourself, like, oh, it's not doing the same time he did it. What's
Right.
wrong? Okay, and then I have to teach myself.
Right.
Um,
But he definitely opened up this whole other, you know.
because you just go behind the curtain, like, oh, this is just some random guy who set this up.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
But when he takes a shot, you're like, whoa, like this is why you're Martin DePick. Like,
Right. But that's dope. You got to meet him too. right?
Yeah, it's a good experience. And then what was the second thing? Oh, you talk about people like ripping off Moss's work. It's like, yeah, but like I found people use, like I used to use specific hashtags. I've seen a lot of photographers use my little copy paste hashtags, and some have typos in it. Like, cause I left typo in there.
Oh, okay.
And the way like you could take that as like, what? But then I also start like, oh, that's validating because that means someone sees something what I'm doing to the point where they feel like they need to copy it to get by.
No, for sure.
That's it.
No, yeah, for sure. I was, you know what, Moss probably has gotten in so much, you know, but I'm just angry for him.
Yeah.
That's okay, Moss. I'll be angry for you if you're listening to this. No, you know, but because I'm such a fan, I was like, Here's the thing. I come, well, the background is with hip hop.
Okay.
In hip hop, you know, back in the day, we used to call it biting.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't copy anybody's style, bro. You got to have your own, no matter even how bad it is, at least it's your own fucking thing.
Yeah.
And so the originality of it, like, I dig that. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there's an influence. You know what I mean?
And then there's stealing it. Like,
yeah, and there's the
blatantly.
blatantly. I was like, bro, what are you doing?
That's
like,
different. That's
but that's what it was,
Yeah.
bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it angered me. No. No, I was
Yeah.
upset. I was like, yo, bro, like, what the fuck, bro? And he was like, bro, it happens, you know, whatever.
he's used to it. What is he gonna do?
Yeah,
Send him a mean
it's true.
message?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm like, you want me to go talk to him? No, but I'm just like, okay. But the way that he just kind of like, yo, it's cool. It's like, you know,
You're
kind of
feeling mad for him. Like, dude,
yeah,
come on.
Yeah, but it's kind of to the point you said, like, look, you know, at least somebody sees it, and somebody's, you know, thinks highly enough of it to, you know, replicate it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like really shot by shot type of shit. I'm just like, fuck, bro. Like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
You know, not thinking about it. I'm like, you really fucking created just like a carbon copy. But you know,
Yeah.
there's an art to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. Real quick, we're gonna get into your new adventure,
Let's do it.
right? All right. So you're going off into the army.
Going to the army.
Yes. It should be fun. Matt, do you have any advice? I know you. I don't want to say you were a Marine because once a Marine, always a Marine.
That's what they say.
That's okay. Hoorah. Hope I got it right.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but just go to all your training expecting to be challenged and just be ready to accept the challenge.
Yeah.
And just never let it get you down. Like that, the whole point of it is to break you down as an individual and build you back up as a soldier or a Marine or an airman or whatever. So as long as you go in expecting that, I don't think it's, you know, there's like a physical transition that you have to make, but the hardest part is the mental transition from being like a quote unquote like individual or a private citizen to becoming a member of like a team and following orders and doing what you're told, and then like also looking out for the people around you and making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and like having their back.
Yeah.
As long as you go in understanding that that's basically what's going to be expected of you, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going airborne.
Yeah, that'll be different. Cause like there's like an business insider video where they're just showing the process of it, and like the first time I watched, my hands got sweaty. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh, how are you with heights? You ever jumped out of a plane?
No, I never jumped out of a plane.
Why would you?
I think I'm all right with heights, but you know, I'm also like safe versus like being in a plane. Okay, I have to jump now. I've never done that. Like,
I think the closest I've gone to anything like that was bungee jumping.
yeah, I haven't done that. Like, I'm not a roller coaster guy.
Oh,
Like so it'll be different.
The Marine Corps tried to get me to re-enlist with $20,000 and Army jump school.
hell yeah!
I still turned it down.
Wow.
You get taxed on it. If I get you.
Well, I was deployed to Afghanistan, so I would have got that 20,000 tax free.
Oh,
Boom.
that's a decision.
They
huh?
timed it like that too to make it more of an incentive. But I was like, I'm going to college.
Yeah.
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 Hell yeah. And yeah, you could have jumped out of perfectly fucking good planes, bro.
Well, yeah, I mean, I worked on perfectly. Well, I wouldn't say perfectly good, but I worked on helicopters.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever want to jump out of one of those.
Yeah. I mean, do you? It takes a special kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That's okay though. Is there anything you look forward to it or to, you know, that experience?
I think I don't know, like there's, it's not weird saying, but like making me more of a man.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
It's not weird.
because I'm doing it so we can have stability for my family,
Yeah,
get
you're
out,
doing
we
it
can
for
buy a
your family.
house. So there's that. But then
Very
there's the
cool.
under layer of like, like I can grind, I can work hard, I'm resilient. That part I'm like, I know I'm a great dad. All that's there. But then there's a part of me it's like, I might go for a walk outside somewhere and like see someone bigger and be like, oh, fuck that guy. Like, but why am I so insecure about that? What am I afraid of? Like, what if he bumps me? Do I have to push him back? Like, I don't know what to do. Like,
Yeah,
weird
the
shit like
scenario.
that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like Matt said, there will be. It's all a challenge at that point. You
Yeah.
know, which is great. I feel like we all should challenge ourselves in any way we can. It doesn't have to be anything crazy like joining the army, the Marines, and anyone else. Shout out to all the veterans. It on a daily, challenging yourself to going after what you want to do.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself to really make the move that you've been wanting to make for a while. You know what I mean? Because some people, even getting up in the morning is a challenge at times.
Yeah.
Because they look at their life and they're like, fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, because initially I started doing jujitsu for a few months, and that's where I like started to like that insecure voice was like, oh, it has nothing to do with anyone else. I do everything I see, like how I see myself, right? And so that started to go away. So that was good. But when I see the army, I'm like, you're talking about they're gonna break you down, they're gonna get in your face, and like learning to just like check that, like I don't know, if it's ego or what it is in myself. Like I don't know why I'm so confrontational. I don't need to be. Like maybe there's something about that.
Yeah.
That I'll learn about myself by just being in the army, being present.
No, for sure. And like I told you when we had this whole conversation before we began the episode, is your experience will be your experience. Just keep that in mind because everyone's experience is different. Though it may seem the same, it won't.
Yeah.
Because you may think of it like it was the greatest fucking job in the world.
Someone else's life.
I was artillery, you know what I mean? Blowing shit up.
Yeah.
Literally, you know what I mean? And it was dope. It was a great time. The stuff in between, it's the downtime, some BS, whatever. But it comes with any job.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, but overall, like my experience was dope. For me, it was just my time to go. And that's why I got out.
Yeah.
I think you're going in, you're like 28 now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have a bit of an advantage against the younger cats going in. It's kind of flipped though, because the majority of the guys going into boot camp, no matter what branch that is, they're usually going to be like 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
And you'll have a smattering of older guys. The younger guys are going to have an easier time coping with the physical strain, but they're less adept at adapting to the mental aspect of it.
And that's the big
being
part.
older and more experienced, more wizened, so to speak, basically just more mentally mature.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot easier time adapting to the mental challenges that you're going to run into. So just be prepared to see those 18, 19-year-olds running circles around you. But
It can definitely help.
Yeah.
but they're going to turn to you for advice when it comes time for dealing with all the mental aspects of the challenges.
Yeah, they might, for sure. Because, like I even told you, the leadership, the drill sergeants and whatnot, they'll be like, oh, okay, this is an older cat. He knows what the fuck he's doing. They might put the responsibility more on you because of that. They might. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I know so I said this earlier too. When I was in boot camp for the Marine Corps in 2005, there was a guy in my platoon. He was 33 years old, and he was a former high school football coach. And I know anytime I started feeling stressed out about something, or other guys were feeling stressed out about something, like after taps or lights or whatever the hell they call it, I don't even remember now.
Yeah.
Like we would go to him, and he would give us like those pep talks that we needed to like help us like mentally cope with the
Process
stresses we were dealing with, process things that were happening, get ourselves aligned so that we could face the challenges of the next day.
Yeah, for sure. And those are the things because even when you be in that for those people, you may or may not have to be that. You're going to definitely have to be that for yourself.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're not ready for some shit. You may see some shit that you're like, I definitely didn't expect this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the point where you're going to have to really talk to yourself and be like, okay, your why, right? They say that when you know your why, the how is just, you'll figure that shit out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my experience has been that, once I found my why, okay, how are we going to do this? Matt sometimes questions it, and I'm like, bro, fuck it. Now, also, Matt has been the voice of reason in this, and at times because he'd be like, bro, like recently, he was like, once you get a yes, just go with the fucking yes. The rest of the shit we'll figure out. You know what I
Okay.
mean? But definitely, you're gonna have to be, if that, that's true what Matt said, the voice of reason for these folks there, but also for yourself, because once that shit kicks in, remember, you got your kid, you got your daughter, or your wife, they're waiting for you on the other side of that. You know what I mean? And it's only a couple months.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I've gone through my own like blender of experience. It's like
Right.
I'm more of a tank when it comes to like mental stress.
Yeah, good.
Which is good,
No,
so
sure.
that's the part where I'm like, okay, there are gonna be parts like I told you I went to MEPS and I'm like, I was not ready for that. Like
Right.
I was just in MEPS. I wasn't doing anything yet,
Right.
But at the same time, like it was quick for me to like recognize, okay, I understand the big picture, what's going on here. Okay, let me just go with it,
Yeah, man. And
What does MEP stand for again?
Military Entrance Processing Station. I probably got that wrong, but when you Google Map it, it says the whole word.
Yeah.
I don't.
Closer than what I remember.
It was MEPS was, there were some things that were unnecessary at that point.
Yeah.
When you're there, I'm like, why are we duck walking? Do you remember duck walk? Did you guys do that at MEPS? Did you
I didn't
the
do that for a physical.
duck walk? Yeah. Just check your hips. Yeah, man. Just,
Yeah.
Can you demonstrate this? No, I'm just kidding.
The duck walk, the
Duck
bend
walk.
over and spread.
Yeah.
Yep,
Did they do that?
did that.
Who was it? Because the guy's probably still there. I'm just gonna say that because when I went in, all right, I was your age. I
Okay.
was 28 when I went in. I went to MAPS and they do all that. My buddy who had gone through, he was gonna go into the Navy, didn't make it. He said, "Hey, did you get this dude? And he's gonna do this, but it's this guy specific about the description." And I was like, when I came back, I was like, "Yo, it was him." He's like, "Yeah," and he had been, gone in through all that, a couple years back. So the guy was still there. So I don't know if the guy's still there.
Maybe. I mean, they're
Yeah.
older guys as like the doctors
Yes.
there, so probably one of them is
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah, there you go. Oh man, the job. I wonder how much he gets paid.
I know I went through MEPS in Omaha. I'm
Okay.
from Nebraska.
Yeah.
And when I went through, there was a guy who I guess had been working there for like 30 years or something. They called him Doc Hyde because he'd been there so long, and he like kind of had like a hunched over back and shoulders. He looked old.
Yeah.
But he was notorious for having really bad bedside manner and just saying whatever came to his mind.
Oh yeah.
And I remember when I was there, the group of like potential recruits I was with, one of them was female, and she got really pissed at him because they did the bend over and spread check.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I guess he said something along the lines of like, "Jesus Christ, looks like somebody drove a crane up here."
Oh no.
No.
And she just started yelling at him, and
Yeah.
I was in my examination room still waiting, and I could hear her yelling, and then I didn't know what she was yelling about, and then it was like 20 minutes later, there was like an army nurse.
Yeah.
He came in and was just like going over my file, and he was talking to another guy standing outside the room. And he's like, "Oh yeah, Doc Hyde did it again.
Oh no.
Said something about a crane."
Oh no.
I
Well,
was like, "Yeah."
yeah.
I don't know if that story's PG, but
Yeah.
It's a story, and who knows if that'll be later on part of your experience as well. Not necessarily that, but I'm saying like that type of shit that's gonna happen. You're gonna see maybe a culture shock,
Yeah.
but with the life experience that you have, it's good
Yeah.
because you'll be a little more focused too on what your goal is.
Yeah.
And that moment in time, it won't last forever. Unless you fail fucking basic training, then they'll recycle your ass.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
But hopefully not. But also, I know you mentioned, I asked you about like your photography within the military and all
Sure.
that stuff. If you're gonna keep it going, me personally, keep it.
Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
keep it. Keep going, however you can, whenever you can. If you're able to, I know that the MOS that you're going into may allow something like that, but even as a hobby on the side to record
Yeah.
the stuff that you do.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some people do it. Photographers that are in the military still, they'll take it, while they do their job and stuff. So
Yeah.
it'll be fun. I know shooting artillery, like we got to do that, and sometimes people will set up their GoPros and or their actual cameras, DSLRs and stuff, and just shoot the shit, which I wish I would have done, but I didn't. But don't lose it. It's something that you said that speaks to you, and it is part of you. It's
Yeah.
your identity. I think seeing this now, going into this new adventure with the Army, it's gonna open your eyes to something new. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's like weird, man. Like just because when I was starting to do it, I was going. 'Cause I didn't just do everything right away. It was like I want to take my time. I don't know if I want to do this. I'm gonna make sure I like do one part of the like recruitment process, like, and ask a lot of questions. And then I would go to like a CVS and be like, this feels so weird. Like, I'm about to go and do all the stuff I was saying I'm gonna be doing, and it's just gonna be like regular life here for all these people.
Yeah.
Like, but that was my life before I considered doing the military.
No, for sure. No, and the world doesn't stop. Life outside the army doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You know, I came back and then same stuff. You know what I mean? But that's why I tell you, like, yo, follow that passion, and just take the experience for for what it is. Be present, as you've mentioned as well, and like I said, making sure that you know that your experience is your experience, no one else's.
Yeah.
You know, don't compare it, because then you're gonna be like, how come it wasn't like this for so and so? And it's like their attitude might have been having something to do with that, where they were like, nah, this is good for me. Fuck it, I'm gonna go with it. Some people are like, this sucks. I'm miserable. I can't wait to get out. You know, all this stuff. So
Yeah.
but hopefully you have a good experience. Shit, man. I would say start running today. That's my biggest advice. Start running today.
Yeah.
Put your miles in. Get your time on feet, man. Because put that and a lot of push-ups.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, look, it's a pleasure having you on. I don't know if we have. They got a question for you.
Let's do it.
Here it comes.
So this question is inspired by your decision to join the Army.
Hooah!
If you were told that you had to perform YMCA as a member of the village people, which village person would you choose to be, and which village person would Frank be, and why?
Yeah. Oh crap!
That's a tough one. I don't know, because I feel like I could think of an image of it, and there's like like a black cowboy is one of them.
I have a picture of it right.
You got a
Yeah,
picture
it's
of
like there's an electrical worker, there's a cowboy, there's a soldier. He could be a Marine, but
He could be a Marine.
could be. I don't know. I can't make it out. He's
I'll
just
say
in
he's a Marine.
he's just in like the green skivvy shirt and the old
Sounds like Marine.
analog camo pants. There's a cop. There's probably not politically correct Native American, and a biker, clad in lots of leather.
Damn, there's a lot of
like
them.
all the masculine.
Yeah.
Like, what do you call it now? Stereotypes.
I think they're all stereotypes. That's a good way of putting
What's
it.
the word though? There's an S word for it. Doesn't matter.
Stereotype.
No, it's like persona or character. Archetype. I think it's archetype. Whatever. I don't know. I think I'll run with cowboy for me,
There you go.
and then I could probably see you as like electrician.
Electrician?
Yeah.
Wow. I may look like no.
Which one do you want to be, Frank?
What do
You want to be the cowboy?
you know? What I okay. Full disclosure, I will go with cowboy. When I was little, my sisters would call me charrito, right? I don't know if you know what that even means, but it's like cowboy. And the reason for that was because when I was really young, I used to have cowboy boots. And I'd be dressed, not necessarily in cowboy attire, but I would always have cowboy boots for some fucking reason. And then I would take all my clothes off and then put my cowboy boots on. So I'd be running around butt naked with cowboy boots on. So I'm going to go with cowboy. So there you go.
Yeah.
Fun times. Well, yo, pleasure having you on. Thank you for your time, for your energy, for your story. We wish you luck in your new adventure. Just fucking run the fuck out of that. But don't lose the photography shit, bro.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna keep tabs and I'm gonna be like, hey man, what's going on with this, bro? You get out, man. We can't wait to hear how your new adventure goes. Shout out to all the veterans out there, and just keep your eye on the prize, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for being here. So hey, to you, bro, just keep rocking it, right? Yeah. Ta-da!
Is that it?
We did it.
Nice.
Good shit,
Easy.
bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
No, of course. It was good stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks for the question.
I don't know if you're.
Yeah, I mean, you're just as ugly as ever, but
That shit is brown as fuck.